A man stands in his apartment shaking, his hands covered in blood that is not his. His best friend lies on the floor, not moving. Sirens scream in the distance. Outside, posters already call him a killer. Across the city, a woman in a courtroom hears his name on the news. Her face freezes. This is the man who once saved her life without knowing it. Now the world wants him destroyed, and she is the only person willing to stand between him and prison. But what if she is defending the wrong man? And what if the real killer is already watching her every move? Sina lives a double life. To the world, she is a cold-blooded, robotic prosecutor who never smiles. She walks into court with a stone face. Recently, she released a famous tennis player accused of murder because there wasn't enough evidence. The public hates her for it. They call her corrupt, money-hungry, and heartless. Even her colleagues whisper behind her back. But Sina doesn't care. She follows the law, not her feelings. Her boss, Guangsu, is the only one who defends her, admiring her skill and her beauty. But when Sina goes home, the robot shuts down and the human being comes out. She isn't obsessed with money or power. She is obsessed with him, Rai. Rai is a famous idol, a singer who shines on stage. Sina spends her nights alone, drinking and staring at his photos. She likes every post and defends him in the comments. When her friend, a private investigator named Chung Jai, visits her, he doesn't understand. He asks why she loves someone she doesn't even know. Sina looks at the photo with sad eyes. She says you don't need a reason to love someone. For her, Rai is the only escape from her exhausting, lonely life. But while Sina sees Rai as a shining star, Rai's reality is a living hell. Backstage, Rai is broken. He is surrounded by people, yet completely alone. His management treats him like a product, not a human. They overwork him, forcing him into solo concerts he isn't ready for. When he complains about the cheap food or the terrible schedule, they gaslight him. His manager begs on his knees, talking only about profits and money. The company executives even joke about how he's worth more dead than alive. Rai swallows his anger and goes on stage. He smiles for the fans, but inside, he is screaming. At the same time, Sena is back in court, but she is distracted. She keeps checking her watch. The opposing prosecutor drags the case longer than needed. Sena finishes as fast as she can and rushes out. In the hallway, she crashes into another prosecutor, Byung-jeon, spilling coffee on his shoe. She apologizes quickly and runs off without waiting. Sena changes clothes and escapes the building. Chung-jae is already waiting outside with his bike, and they leave together. Rai sits in a car heading to an autograph event. His phone keeps ringing with calls and messages from fans. Some complain, some insult him. Overwhelmed, he throws the phone away. At the event, he signs autographs without emotion. One fan introduces herself as Haiju. Rai pauses and tells her she has a nice name. Another fan becomes aggressive, demanding his phone number and claiming she spent a lot of money to see him. Security removes her as Haiju watches quietly nearby. The next day, Rai locks himself in the bathroom, covering his ears as the ringing sound grows louder. His manager knocks, worried. Rai says he is fine, but he is not. Doctors have warned him that his symptoms are dangerous and could lead to serious damage, but Rai refuses treatment. He believes he is already broken. Sana arrives at the venue hoping to see Rai but is too late. The autograph session has ended. She drops a ring in the hallway. A girl picks it up and returns it to her. The girl is Haiju. Sana thanks her and moves on. Sana sits nearby, disappointed she missed Rai again. Chung-jae joins her. Sana talks about missing the concert, the show, everything. Then she looks at a poster of Rai and smiles. Seeing his face is enough. At home, Rai looks at a photo of Haiju on his phone. It is revealed she is his girlfriend. That night, two fans secretly enter his house. Rai forces them out harshly. The company later confronts him with a leaked video of the incident. They spent a lot of money to stop it from spreading. Rai's song drops in the rankings. Rai refuses to apologize. He says stalkers are criminals and he is the victim. His boss tells him fans do not want a normal human. They want a perfect idol. Rai snaps. He says he has worked since he was 10 years old, living for others, never for himself. He wants freedom and a real life. His boss coldly tells him to keep working. Sana tries to buy tickets for Rai's concert at a PC cafe. They sell out instantly. She finds an illegal reseller and meets him with Chung-jae. When the man demands a high price, Sana threatens him with the law and explains the legal consequences. The man panics and runs. At the same time, fans spot Rai near the parking area. He runs to escape them. He hides behind a door just as Sana reaches the same place, chasing the ticket seller. She grabs Rai by mistake, thinking he is the criminal. When she looks up, she realizes who he is. Fans approach. Without speaking, Rai gently covers Sina's face with his hand to hide her. His touch is careful and tense. After the fans leave, he warns her not to scream or follow him and walks away. Sina stands frozen, overwhelmed with happiness. She met him in person. Inside the venue, Rai argues with his group members. Accusations turn bitter. One member insults Rai's mother. Rai loses control. A fight breaks out. Another member, Youngbin, is badly injured trying to stop them. An ambulance arrives. Rai wants to go with him but cannot because the concert must continue. That night, Sina keeps replaying the moment Rai touched her face. Online, rumors spread that Rai is violent and dangerous. Sina defends him in the comments, telling people to stop spreading lies. Her friend shows her edited clips that make Rai look cruel. Sina remembers her childhood, a boy playing guitar and comforting her. She messages her friend and says she believes Rai completely. Rai sings alone at home, exhausted and empty. A teammate, Yu Shang, visits him and tells him Youngbin is recovering and regrets his words. Rai admits he is tired and lonely, but he will not leave the group. He believes they still matter. The next morning, everything collapses. Rai wakes up and finds Yu Shang stabbed to death. Shock paralyzes him. He screams as staff and managers rush in. Police arrive quickly. The news spreads instantly. Rai is arrested for murder. The victim was last seen with him the night before. To the public, the story is simple. Sina sees the news while preparing for court. Her hands tremble. Without thinking, she runs to the police station. She opens the door and sees Rai sitting alone, accused of murder. Their eyes meet in silence, marking the beginning of a connection that will change both their lives. Sina lost in a memory from her past. She is at home watching Rai's concert on TV. She is fully enjoying the moment, cheering loudly and calling his name like a true fan. Her face is bright with happiness, but suddenly the scene shifts back to the present. Now Sena is sitting across from Rai at the police station, questioning him. Rai keeps repeating the same thing again and again. This cannot be true. Yu Seong cannot be dead. But Sena calmly tells him that it is true. The police have already confirmed everything. Yu Seong has died. Sena says she needs to record his statement so they can understand what really happened that night. She asks him if there is anyone he suspects. Rai talks about the fans who secretly entered his house without him knowing. He believes they could be responsible. He explains that those fans somehow knew the passcode to his house. As he talks, he suddenly stands up and starts shouting angrily, cursing those fans. Sina watches him closely. This is the first time she has ever seen this side of Rai. She does not say anything and quietly walks out. Outside, she runs into Prosecutor Huang, whom we saw in the previous episode. He asks her why she is there. He reminds her that this case involves a member of Goldie Entertainment and that he is the one in charge of the agency-related cases. He tells her she must step away from this case. Sina silently nods and starts to leave, but he stops her and asks why she is giving up so easily. He asks if Rai has confessed to killing Yu Sheng. Sena does not answer and walks away. Her mind drifts back to her school days. She remembers being bullied by a boy who poured water on her. Other students whispered behind her back, saying her father had killed someone and that she might do the same someday. Sina recalls how she lost all hope back then. She remembers standing near the water, ready to end everything. A boy appears at that moment. He is carrying a guitar and starts singing. Sina watches him quietly and listens to his song. As she is about to leave, a line from the song reminds her of her father, who also used to play the guitar. The boy comes closer and playfully knocks her hat away. That boy is Rai. After that day, Sina submits her withdrawal application from school. Rai later gives her a recording of his song and tells her he recorded it during a very hard time in his life. He says listening to it might bring her comfort. Sina says that was the day she decided to keep living. She believed that someday she would find her reason to live. She begins studying law seriously, surrounded by stacks of books. One day, she learns about a group called Gold Boys, with Rai as a member, preparing for their first performance. She goes to watch them and cheers loudly, telling them they can do it. Rai notices her in the crowd. The group begins to sing. Back in the present, Sina is confused. She wonders wonders what she should do. The Rai she met back then feels very different from the man she saw at the police station shouting and cursing. As she is thinking, Rai appears and asks her directly who she thinks he is, a victim or a murderer. Sina answers honestly. She says she only wants the real Rai. The next scene shows Rai at the police station with his lawyer Huang. The police question him harshly and ask why he killed Yu Xiong. Rai firmly denies it. The police suggest that since they were drinking that night, he might have stabbed Yu Xiong by mistake. They even demonstrate the action. Rai explodes in anger, shouting that he would never do something like that. He cannot even imagine it. Huang sides with the police, which makes Rai furious. He yells at Huang, asking what kind of lawyer he is if he cannot protect his own client. The police then warn that the prosecutor's office will soon request an arrest warrant. Sena rushes to Huang's office and confronts him. She asks why he stepped back from the case and tells him that Rai will be arrested soon. Huang explains that the opposing prosecutor is Bong Gon, a man from a powerful chaebol family who wants to enter politics. He took this case to build his reputation. Huang admits he backed off because Bong Gon could destroy his career. Sena returns to her office and sits quietly. Hong, who works nearby, secretly watches her. Outside, fans are protesting for Rai, shouting that he is innocent and demanding the real criminal be found. The Gold Boys members talk among themselves, saying they cannot believe Rai could kill Yu Song. They agree to wait for the investigation. Bosung receives a call from reporter Bayek, despite their agreement not to contact each other. Bayek says that during Rai's autograph event, he saw something no one else noticed. He sent photos showing Heiju watching Rai. Bayek says her presence cannot be a coincidence. Sena goes to see Rai again. Rai finally admits that maybe Yu Xiong really is dead. Sena tells him to forget that for now and asks him one final question, asking him to answer only yes or no. Did he kill Yu Song? Rai says no. Sena carefully watches his expression. She remembers seeing Rai act in a drama before and how convincing he was while lying. But she tells herself that this time, she believes him. She tells Rai that if he stays in jail, he will hear singing every morning. But if he chooses her as his lawyer, things could change, under one condition. Later, Rai argues with his manager, saying Sena cannot be his lawyer. The manager tells him that no one else is willing to take his case, and even the agency is cutting ties with him. Rai breaks down in tears. Rai meets a public defender, but the lawyer refuses to help, saying all evidence is against him and advises him to confess for a lighter sentence. Rai angrily refuses and says he already has a lawyer, Sina. At home, Sina watches the news about Rai when she gets a call confirming that Rai has agreed to work with her. She smiles, quickly gets ready, and goes to Chung Jae, telling him they need to work immediately. Sena visits Rai's villa and carefully examines the scene, imagining what could have happened. Only Rai knew the passcode, yet someone entered. The housekeeper was present that night, and it was raining heavily. She wonders how an outsider could have entered. Bong Gon arrives and dismisses her investigation, saying the case is simple. Only 2 people were inside and one killed the other. He mentions Sena by name, saying he has heard a lot about her. Sena notices a mole on his neck and suddenly remembers the boy who bullied her at school. She realizes that boy was Bong Gon. She tells him they will meet in court and leaves. Later, Guangsu warns Sena that Bong Gon is dangerous and comes from a powerful family. Sena is not afraid. Though Guangsu says he will not take responsibility for what happens to her, he still offers help if she needs it. Outside the office, Sena speaks to a female employee and asks her to bring any data related to Rai's case. The girl later returns with stolen case files, admitting she took them because she wants to help and hopes to become Sena's legal assistant. She also confesses she is a Gold Boys fan. Sena scolds her, but secretly smiles after sending her to gather more information. Sena and Chung Jae later meet the 2 fans who had entered Rai's house. At a cafe, Sena explains that Rai is now a murder suspect and that their secret entry entry could become a serious issue if revealed. Under pressure, the girls confess how they learned the passcode. They knew when the security shift changed, broke a hallway light on purpose, and waited near the stairs. When Rai came out to fix the light and entered the passcode, they memorized it. They insist they did nothing wrong and claim it was love. Sina firmly tells them that this is not love. Rai is brought to court, surrounded by shouting crowds calling him a murderer. Sina tells him to lift his head high and repeat after her, "I didn't kill him." Rai repeats it. In court, Sina challenges Bonggon's claim that only 2 people were at the crime scene. She reveals that fans had entered the house recently and points out that rain could have washed away evidence. With no solid proof, Rai is released for now, though the investigation continues. Outside, Sina confidently tells Bonggon that she is not under attack. She is calmly fighting the case and will knock him out soon. Sina tells Rai he can go home and offers to call someone he trusts, but he refuses. Later, in the car with Sina and Chungjae, Rai asks to stop. He stands in front of a poster calling him a murderer. That night, he tries to return home but is overwhelmed by memories of Yusheng. He runs away, collapses, and loses consciousness. When he wakes up, he finds himself in a different place. Sina is in the kitchen, then suddenly shows him a knife. Rai panics and steps back. Sina quickly explains that she is not threatening him. She tells him what happened the night before. He was drunk, fell down, and ended up at the police station. She tried to take him home but did not know the passcode. Rai gets scared and tries to run. Sina stops him and shows him a summons from the prosecutor. She warns him that if he runs again, an arrest warrant could be issued. Rai does not take it seriously and runs away anyway. On the way, Rai runs into Chungjae but says nothing. Chungjae later confronts Sena and asks why she let Rai go. The story shifts to Bonggon and Detective Namsik, who questioned Rai earlier. They meet a forensic doctor who explains that Yusheng was stabbed in a skilled, precise way, likely by someone he knew. Namsik doubts Rai could have done it while drunk. Outside, Namsik says he still believes Rai is guilty. Bonggon orders him to find any evidence linking Rai to the crime, saying they can force a confession later. Sina visits Rai's manager, Haku. Outside, people are protesting, demanding punishment for Rai. Haku admits he was the first to see Yusong dead. Sina asks if the housekeeper could have lost her keycard, but Haku says no. She has worked there for 10 years. Sina then meets Bosung and asks if Rai and Yusong fought that night. Bosung denies it and explains that Rai's contract was not cancelled, only leaked to calm shareholders and public anger. The Gold Boys members arrive. Sina quietly feels happy seeing them in person. She asks what happened that night. Jaehai gets angry and says there was no fight. He recognizes Sina and accuses her of always helping bad people. He insists Rai is a murderer. Later, Sina rides in the car, thinking about how no one believes Rai. On the radio, Rai's mother gives an interview, speaking badly about him and saying he should admit the truth if he is guilty. Bosung orders the media to stop spreading it. Rai confronts Bosung about his contract. Bosung talks about Rai's mother taking loans in his name, selling interviews, and losing his house and car. He says stopping those interviews is all he can do for Rai. Sina meets Rai's mother, Mi Kyung. Sina tells her spreading false stories is wrong. Mi Kyung asks how much Sena will pay her. Sina realizes Mi Kyung sells interviews for money. Sena mentions a song Rai wrote about his childhood and says it was meant to comfort people like him. She warns Mi Kyung that if she speaks badly about Rai again, she will sue her for defamation. Chungjae calls Sena and says Rai has run away again. Sena panics. Chungjae says he is tracking him. Rai is shown walking on a bridge. 3 boys recognize his Gold Boy's shoes and realize he is Rai. One starts recording him. Rai throws the phone away, but the boys attack him and beat him. Sina and Chungjae arrive at the bridge. They see the boys holding Rai's shoes. Sina asks where the owner is. One boy mocks her, but Chungjae steps in and beats them up. They tell Sena where Rai went. Sena runs to Rai and finds him covering his ears. Rai says again that he did not kill his friend. Sena tells him she understands how he feels and begs him not to give up. She promises to stay by his side until the truth comes out and justice is done. She reaches out her hand. Elsewhere, Haeju looks at photos of Rai and checks Bonggon's profile. Bonggon talks to his father, Jong Cheol, who says a prosecutor's job is not to find truth but to force a confession. He mentions Sina, reminding Bonggon of the girl he bullied in school. Bonggon remembers pouring water on her. Police review CCTV footage and notice something strange. Rai said he went to buy alcohol, but the footage shows him leaving the store empty-handed. He also took a longer route home, 40 minutes instead of 20. At Sena's house, Rai tells his past. He talks about his childhood, his mother singing in bars, and how Bosung discovered him. He also talks about Yusong, who stayed by his side when things were hard. That night, they drank, listened to music, slept, and when Rai woke up, Yusong was dead. Sena shows Rai a video that appears to show him fighting with Yusong. Rai denies it. He asks to stay at Sena's house because his home will be seized and he cannot go anywhere else. Sena is shocked but remembers her promise. Bonggon orders Rai to be brought in again. Prosecutor Kim tries to introduce Bonggon to his sister-in-law, who turns out to be Haiju. Haiju says she does not believe Rai is a killer. Bonggon insists he will prove Rai is guilty. Detective Namsik later shows Bonggon a video where a car almost hits Rai. A woman steps out. It is Haiju. Rai is with Sena when Haiju suddenly appears, calls his name, and hugs him tightly. Sena watches silently, a scene from the past. Sena walks into a convenience store to buy something. While standing there, she notices a news report playing on the TV. The news is about Rai's dating life. The reporter calls it a rumor, but the moment Sena hears it, she freezes in shock. When Sena returns home, she watches the news again. The report claims that Rai is dating a girl who used to be his trainee. Her name is Haiju. The footage shows Rai and Haiju sitting in a car, holding hands. Sena feels deeply upset. She stops doing anything, loses her appetite, and barely eats. Chungjae brings her food, but she refuses. 2 or 3 days pass like this. One day, Sena's friend tells her what Rai said publicly. Sena turns on the TV and sees Rai clearly saying that he is not dating anyone. He explains that he and Haiju are just friends. Hearing this, Sena finally feels relieved. Back in the present, Sena sees Rai and Haiju together in person. She notices reporter Bayek nearby, secretly taking photos of them. Sena immediately tells them they need to leave because Baek is there. In the next scene, all three are in a car. Haiju keeps looking at Rai's hand and seems like she wants to hold it, but Rai pulls away. Sena watches everything through the mirror. Rai asks Sena to turn off the dash cam, and she does. Later, Sena is standing outside the car alone. Chungjae arrives and asks why she called him, reminding her that today is his promotion day. Then he notices Rai standing with a woman and asks who she is. Sena tells him this is the same woman who was linked to Rai in dating rumors before. Chungjae is shocked and asks if this is the reason Sena could not eat for days. He reminds her that Rai is an idol and may have dated many women, and that she should not give her heart so easily. Chungjae says he did not mean to hurt her, but Sena replies that her feelings do not matter anyway. Meanwhile, Haiju is talking to Rai. Rai tells her that he knows why she came. He believes she expected him to meet the prosecutor and mention her name, but he says he would never do that. Haiju gets angry and says she came only to see him. Rai tells her he does not want to talk and starts to leave. That is when Haiju reveals something important. She says she saw Jae going into the dorm that day, but the news claimed Jae was in the hospital when Yusong died. Haiju says that was a lie. Rai walks over to Sena. Sena confronts him and asks if Haiju is the woman he met for those missing 20 minutes. She accuses him of lying to her. Rai says he did not lie and insists that Haiju has nothing to do with the case. He tells Sena he will explain everything later and asks her to safely take Haiju home. Then he grabs Chungjae's bike and rides away. Chungjae shouts after him, but Rai does not stop. Elsewhere, Detective Namsik shows Bonggon a video clip where a car suddenly stops in front of Rai. Namsik believes the woman inside. The car wanted to hurt him. Bonggon asks who she is. Namsik says he checked the license plate and found the car belongs to the Imhwa group. Sena drops Chungjae off and tells him she needs to work at the office. Chungjae looks at her closely and asks what is wrong. Sena tells him not to talk about her feelings again. She says she is strong enough to handle herself. At the company, Jae announces that he is leaving. Haku tries to stop him, but Jae says his contract is ending soon and he has no future there. Yongbin tells Jae to stay, but Jae tells him he should leave too. At that moment, Rai arrives and asks Haku if Jae was really in the hospital on the day Yusong died. Haku says he does not know. Jae gets angry and accuses Rai of trying to blame everything on him. He claims he saw Rai kill Yusong. Yongbin also says Jae was in the hospital. A fight almost breaks out, but Haku pulls Rai away. Rai asks again if Haku is sure Jae was hospitalized. Haku says he was at the office that day and does not know. He then asks Rai where he is staying now. Rai replies bitterly, asking if Haku would let a murder suspect stay with him, then walks away. Sena is at her office thinking about how Rai looked at Haiju in the car. It was clear he once loved her, but now he was forcing himself to ignore her. Sena realizes how painful that must be. Just then, Yesul, the girl who previously gave Sena the case files, arrives and shows her a news article article. Reporter Bayek has published photos of Rai and Haeju together. At the same time, Rai calls Sena and asks if there is any way to remove the article. Sena says it is possible, but will take time. Rai says he will handle it himself. Bonggon shows the article to Forrester King and asks if the woman in the photo is his sister-in-law. When he confirms it is Haeju, Bonggon explains that Haeju used him to arrange a meeting. He warns that Haeju is now involved in the case, and he will not let that slide. Rai goes to confront reporter Bayek and demands he delete the photos and remove the article. Bayek refuses and says he might consider it if Rai kneels like he did before. A flashback shows Bayek trying to blackmail Rai with photos of Haeju, claiming she dated many men. Rai refused to pay. Back in the present, Sena arrives and hears Bayek bragging that Haeju is the hidden daughter of the Imhwa group and that he is about to release a shocking article. Rai loses control and grabs Bayek, threatening him. Bayek mocks him, saying he cannot do anything. Sena steps in, warns Bayek that taking such photos is illegal and threatens legal action. She then pulls Rai away and scolds him for acting alone. She reminds him that she is his lawyer and must know everything. Right. Finally explains the truth. He talks about when Haeju contacted him and wanted to meet. He ignored her calls. Yuseong warned Haeju to stay away, saying Rai needed to focus on work. Rai overheard them and got angry, not because Haeju spoke for him, but because secrets had formed between him and Yuseong. On the day Yuseong died, Haeju messaged Rai again. Rai left the house, saying he was going to buy alcohol. He met Haeju in her car and gave her only 5 minutes. He told her he no longer wanted to meet and needed to focus on his solo concert. After he left, Haeju suddenly drove toward him, slammed the brakes, stared at him for a moment, then drove away. In the present, Rai apologizes to Sena for hiding this. Sena understands. She knows he was trying to protect Haeju and keep her away from the case. Rai admits they broke up long ago, but still wanted to protect her. He asks Sena for help, and she agrees. Bonggon questions Haeju. She insists she and Rai are only friends and says she cannot share private details. She reminds Bonggon that he once promised to prove Rai's guilt, but she firmly says Rai is innocent. She also tells him she saw Jay that day and that the hospital story is a lie. Jay is later seen on the phone, saying he does not want to hide anything. Yongbin watches him closely and confronts him, saying his behavior is strange. Jay explodes and tells him to stay out of it. That night, Sena returns home and accidentally walks in on Rai changing clothes. She quickly turns away and scolds him. Rai reminds her to knock next time. Sena says it is her house and she can enter any time. Rai finishes changing and asks what she wanted to say. Sena explains she is investigating to keep Haeju out of the case. Rai is happy and tells her again that Haeju mentioned seeing Jay. Sena promises to look into it. After Sena leaves, Rai notices a note under Sena's laptop that says, Rai is not a criminal. Sena meets Chung Jae, who confirms he found the taxi footage. Sena says she already knows Haeju tried to hit Rai with her car. Later, Sena visits Rai while he sleeps, gently touches him, and wishes he could be happy again. The next morning, Rai wakes up to find a blanket over him and food prepared, along with a note from Sena saying she went to investigate. Chung Jae arrives with shampoo and supplements, explaining Sena told him Rai looked weak and needed care. Rai asks Chung Jae if Sena came by last night. Chung Jae says yes. Rai asks about their relationship, but Chung Jae brushes it off. Rai goes to shower. Chung Jae later returns home, eats candy, and remembers a moment at a memorial where Sena once comforted him with the same candy. Sena arrives at the prosecutor's office and tells a director she received the email. Rai arrives too and smiles at her. Sena says she found proof that can remove Haeju from the case. They meet Bonggon. Sena presents call records showing that Yusung spoke with Bosung after Rai met Haeju. This proves Yusung was alive after their meeting, meaning Haeju could not be involved. Sena demands Bonggon remove Haeju from the case or face legal action. Outside, Rai thanks Sena, but Bonggon appears and mocks her, revealing he recognizes her as the girl he bullied in school. He questions why she took the case. Sena laughs, tells him to stop overthinking, and challenges him to find the real killer. She pats his back and leaves. In the car, Rai asks if Bonggon is her ex. Sena yells and explains he was her bully. As they argue, they suddenly realize the car brakes have failed. The car swerves off the road. Rake sees Sena and grabs her in time. He did it to save her. The story then jumps into Sena's past. She is at home, sitting under a tree, upset and quiet. At this time, Sena is just a little girl. Her father walks up and asks if she is sad. He tells her that her mother did not scold her only because a dish broke. The real problem was that her mother thought Sena lied. Sena insists she did not lie and says she did not break the dish. Her father then points at the tree and says it is a tickle tree, a tree that can tell when someone lies. He says whenever a person lies, the tree knows and its leaves start shaking. Sena does not believe him and says that is not possible. Her father says it is true and tells her she must be honest, like the tree, and never lie. Sena looks at the tree again, then looks forward, and her father is gone. He has suddenly disappeared. Sena starts looking for him, and without knowing how, she ends up deep in the forest. She cries, screams, and calls for her father, but he is nowhere. Back in the present, Sena is in the hospital. She opens her eyes and realizes it was a dream. Rake is right there holding her hand. He asks if she is okay. Sena looks at her hand, and Rake quickly pulls his hand away. Then Chungjae arrives and asks what happened. Rake says the doctor told them it is only a fracture in her hand and everything else is fine. Rake steps out and tells Chungjae to talk to her. Sena explains she gave Rake the car key and sent him ahead. Later, when they were traveling together, the brakes suddenly stopped working. She says it has been many years and nothing like this ever happened before, so she thinks someone did it on purpose. She suspects Exi and asks Chungjae to investigate. Outside, Rake is talking to the doctor when he notices reporter Bayek and several other reporters. He rushes back to Sena and says there is trouble. The reporters have arrived and they need to leave. Sena tells the doctor she wants to be discharged. Soon she and Rake escape in a taxi. The reporters can only watch them go. At the station, Bonggon's chief is furious. He shouts that there is chaos in the group and demands to know why Bonggon dragged their daughter, Heju, into the case. He says she is innocent. He also reminds Bonggon that he claimed the criminal was found. Bonggon admits they do not have real proof yet and says they are still checking. The chief orders him to solve the case fast or step back and apologize. Bonggon leaves, remembering school days. He recalls watching Sana and hearing her tease him. She said she heard he wanted to be a prosecutor, and she hoped his dream came true so she could set traps for him later and he would not be able to do anything. Back at the office, Bonggon asks Namsik if he found something. Namsik says he checked Jay and learned Heju was right. Jay truly was not at the hospital that day. Bonggon tells him to keep investigating. In the taxi, a speed breaker comes and Sena almost jolts forward, but Rake throws his arm out to protect her. When they arrive, Rake notices Sena is limping. She says it is only a sprain, but Rake lifts her into his arms and carries her inside. Sena protests, but he refuses to put her down and places her on a chair. She asks why he did that when she told him not to. Rake says he cannot ignore an injured person. He tells her to rest and says he will handle everything. Elsewhere, Bonggon's father Jongchul meets Heju's father, who is furious that his daughter was questioned for 6 hours. Jongchul apologizes and says he did not know she was his daughter. He says Bonggon is still learning and has little experience. Heju's father says Jongchul was never like this before and used to clear cases smoothly, and he suggests Jongchul should take the case and solve it calmly. Iju watches the news that Rake was discharged. She orders her secretary to find where Rake is. Back at Sena's house, Rake notices many products like milk and coffee with his photo on them. Sena showers and suddenly screams. Rake knocks, worried, but Sena steps out acting tough and says she is fine. When she tries to dry her hair, Rake stops her, brings a fan, and sits her down. Their talk turns awkward when they mention how someone once called Sena smelly, and Rake repeated it. Sena explains it was a school nickname used to tease her. Rake suggests she call that person bacteria, and Sena laughs. Rake keeps staring at her smile until he gets nervous and says he is hungry. During dinner, Sena keeps working. Rake complains he feels invisible. Sena says she is just busy, then eats too. Rake says she is polite and rude at the same time and tells her to speak casually. Sena says she cannot because people will think they are close and his fans will talk about her. Rake teases that she must like him, pointing out all the products with his face. Sena stays quiet, and Rake covers for her by saying those items were trending and she probably bought them for that reason. Sena agrees. Rake then admits he used to feel unloved and alone until Heju understood him, but now she is gone. Still, he tells Sena he will not disappoint her. Chungjae checks the car and confirms the brakes were failed on purpose. He also says the dash cam was off. Sena remembers Raik once asked to turn it off when Heju was in the car. Raik overhears Chungjae suggest Raik may have done it. thinking fear of jail pushed him toward suicide. Sana refuses to believe that. She compares it to Chungjae's past theft cases. She defended him because she believed him, and now she will do the same for Rake. Rake hears her promise. At the police station, officers question the two stalker girls and show footage proving they failed Sina's brakes. The girls see Rake and call him a murderer, blaming Sana for defending him. Sana wants to file a case because they could have died, but Rake stops her and lets the girls go with a warning. They can target him if they want, but they must never hurt another person again, especially Sina. Sina is angry, but Rake says he is trying to protect her from a bigger mess, more rumors, and online attacks. Sina gets called to her office. Rake follows. Guangshu and Wang say Jay gave police evidence against Rake, so Sina should step away because she cannot win. Sina refuses and reminds Guangshu of his own words. A lawyer stands with their client even when the whole world is against them. She says she will not leave Rake. Rake wants to confront Jay, but Sina warns it will look like pressure to change a statement. She advises him to talk to someone close to Jay. They go to Yongbin. Yongbin first says he knows nothing, but Rake pushes, saying Yongbin lied before. Yongbin finally explains what happened at the hospital and admits he saw hateful online comments too. One night he woke up and Jay was gone. In the morning he saw Yuseong's news on TV. He tells them everything. Rake understands Yongbin stayed silent because he suspected Rake. Sina asks about Rake and Jay, and Rake explains they used to be like brothers, living warmly until small issues grew into constant fights. In the present, Rake admits he does not know why Sina trusts him, and prison made him doubt himself. Sina brings him to the tickle tree. She tests it. I believe Rake. The leaves do not move. Then, I don't believe Rake. The leaves shake. She says when her parents died, she broke inside, but the tree gave her courage. Rake tries too. I'm handsome. No movement. I'm a genius. Still nothing. Then he says softly, I did not kill Yuseong. The leaves do not shake, and Rake finally feels relief. But then Haeju arrives and sees them together. She angrily asks Sana how a lawyer can do this. She grabs Rake's hand and tells him to leave with her. Rake pulls away, takes Sana's hand instead, and says Haeju should go, but he will stay here. Sana entering her house quietly. Outside, she sees Haeju talking to Rake. Haeju asks how he is and says she was worried about him. Rake looks cold and confused. He asks how she even found his address and whether she has been investigating him. Haeju says she still cares. She explains that during their breakup she was scared and could not help him, but now things are different. This time she wants to protect him. She says he needs her. Rake shakes his head. He reminds her that they already broke up. She once told him that he ruined her life. He says those words were true and asks her to leave him alone. When Haeju asks about Sana, Rake answers honestly. He says Sana is the only person he can trust right now. Ever since staying with her, he feels calmer. He does not even need medicine anymore. If Haeju really cares, she should not come back. Haeju leaves, remembering their painful past. She recalls the day she showed Rake some secret photos that reporters used to blackmail him. She accused him of hiding things from her and pretending to care. In anger, she insulted him and his poor family, saying he ruined her life. Those harsh words still hurt. Back in the present, Haeju tells her secretary to find a new lawyer for Rake and investigate his debts. Inside the house, Sina works quietly, but keeps remembering when Rake held her hand. Later, Rake knocks on her door. He gives her a relationship chart and says he wants to stay nearby because he feels safe here. He promises to do better and not trouble her. After he leaves, Sina looks at the chart and notices he wrote that he has no relationship with Haeju anymore. The next morning, Sina prepares Raik before going to the prosecutor's office. She tells him to stay calm and not speak emotionally. Raik says he will be fine. During questioning, Jae suddenly accuses Raik of killing Yu Sung. Raik shouts that it is a lie. Jae claims Raik secretly signed with another agency and fought with Yu Sung about it. He says Yu Sung planned to expose the truth, so Raik killed him. Later, Raik angrily looks for his mother. He finds her and demands to know why she signed a contract with another company using his name. She admits she needed money. Raik feels betrayed. Because of her actions, he became a suspect and could even go to jail. His mother coldly tells him that confessing might reduce his punishment. Hearing this breaks his heart. He sends her away. Seeing how upset he is, Sina takes him somewhere special. She shows him a screen filled with messages from fans who still believe he is innocent. She tells him not everyone hates him. Many people are waiting for him and supporting him. Raik feels comforted. Elsewhere, tension rises at the agency. Yongbin argues with others and defends Raik, saying Raik and Yu Sung were like brothers. He insists Raik could never kill him. The group is slowly falling apart. Sina promises Raik she will find out which company made that contract. Raik decides to visit his old boss, Bo Seong. Bo Seong warmly welcomes him and says he trusts Raik completely. He agrees to renew Raik's contract, but says Raik Rake must first prove his innocence. He even offers to testify in court for him. Rake is touched. While waiting outside, Sina talks with Boseong and remembers her own father, who once went to jail even though he was innocent. That memory is the reason she refuses to abandon Rake now. That night at home, Rake cannot sleep. He sits beside Sina and asks about her life. He wants to know her favorite food, her hobbies, and what she likes. Sina hides the truth. She does not tell him that she used to attend his concerts and listen to his songs. Rake takes her to a room with a piano and teaches her how to play. Then he softly sings for her. The song is the same one she once heard long ago when she cried alone near the water. She realizes he had comforted her without even knowing. Meanwhile, Chung Jae calls Sena with new information. He has discovered which agency made the secret contract. Sena quickly leaves to meet him. Rake asks for the house key, saying he wants to cook her favorite food. He goes shopping and tries to cook for the first time, even calling an old housekeeper for help. While looking for rice, he finds Sena's old diary. Inside are childhood photos and many memories. Then he finds a hidden box. When he opens it, he freezes. The box is full of fan items, concert tickets, photos, albums, and everything related to him. Sena has secretly been his fan for years. Just then, Sena returns home. The items are scattered across the floor. Rake sits there, shocked, holding the box. He looks at her and quietly asks, "What is all this?" At first, Sena can't speak. Then she finally admits the truth. "I'm your fan." Rake's expression changes. "Then why did you hide it? Why throw everything away like trash?" She stays silent, but Rake already understands. "You took my case because you're my fan, not because you believed me. You were pretending. If I wasn't Rake, would you still choose me?" She has no answer. Disappointed, he walks out. Outside, memories of their time together flash through his mind. Her smile, her care, the quiet moments. Everything now feels fake. Inside, Chung Jae arrives and sees the mess. Sena explains Rake found out. Chung Jae scolds her. He warned her not to get close, not to fall for him. Sena confesses something painful. She once tried to throw everything away when Rake got arrested. She even tried to burn his photo, but she couldn't. She secretly brought everything back and locked it in a box. She thought she could live without him. She was wrong. Meanwhile, Rake meets his manager, Hanku. They talk about Jae being called again for questioning. Tension rises. The prosecutor still suspects Rake. Soon, Rake is summoned too. Inside the interrogation room, Bongon pressures him hard, trying to force a confession. Suddenly, the door bursts open. Sena. She shouts that questioning a client without their lawyer is illegal. Bongon coldly replies that Rake allowed it and tells her to leave. She waits outside until Rake comes out. She stops him. "I was your fan at first. Yes, but now it's different. My job and my feelings are separate. I believe you. Isn't that enough?" Rake shakes his head. "I'm not upset you lied. I'm upset because you made me believe you trusted me." Then he says the words that break her heart. "You're fired. You're not my lawyer anymore." He walks away. Bongon mocks Sena afterward, saying even her client abandoned her. He compares her to her father and claims her father wasn't innocent either. Sena explodes, accusing him of creating fake evidence like he did before, but Bongon only smirks. Later, Sena meets Haiju. She hands over the case files and asks her to give Rake another lawyer. Haiju thanks her, but tells her to stay away from Rake now. That night, Sena packs all of Rake's belongings and throws them outside. Only the hat he once gave her remains. Elsewhere, Rake refuses the new lawyer Haiju hired. He doesn't want anyone. Both of them are hurting, pretending to move on. Sena stops eating, barely sleeping. Chung Jae worries deeply about her. He almost confesses his feelings, but stops himself when she asks him not to cross that line. At work, Sena forces herself to focus. Then Gwangsu shares something important. Before Yoosung's death, the company contract had already been tampered with. Someone inside betrayed Rake, and strangely, it wasn't Rake's mother who brought the contract. It was Yoosung himself. This changes everything. That night, Sena drinks alone outside a store, something she never does. Rake secretly watches from afar. When she tries calling him, he turns his phone off. He follows her instead. She goes to the piano place he once showed her and plays alone, crying quietly. He wants to help, but can't move. Later, he finds the box of his belongings she threw away. He sees the hat and gently picks it up. Elsewhere, Haiju fights with her powerful father. He orders her to leave the country and stop helping Rake. She refuses, saying she won't abandon him again. Then suddenly, news breaks. Jay's car has crashed. A serious accident. Rake rushes to the hospital. Police call Sena too. Rake running through the hospital corridors, completely out of breath. Doctors are speaking urgently with Boseong and the agency staff. Then he hears the words that freeze his blood. Jay's condition is critical. He might not survive. Rake storms over. "What nonsense are you talking about?" Boseong quickly pulls him aside. "There are reporters outside. Calm down." But Rake explodes. "My friend is dying and you're worried about the media." Then Boseong drops another another bomb. They found a suicide note. Across town, Namze and Sana review the timeline. Jay called several people before the accident: Boxiong, Rake, and strangely Sana. But he barely knew me, she says. Why would he call me? Then she remembers. A voice message, they play it. Jay sounds scared and rushed. Are you with Rake? I need to tell you something. When I went near the dormitory, I found something strange. Yusung's phone was ringing in the garden. Suddenly another voice approaches him, and the message cuts off. Sina's eyes sharpen. Something is wrong. She and Chungjae search that garden, believing the killer may have taken Yusung's phone. Chungjae tells her to let it go. She's not Rake's lawyer anymore. Their worlds are different, but Sana refuses. I don't think Jay killed anyone. Meanwhile, Bongon reports to his powerful father. If Jay dies, the case closes. Easy. His father reminds him that sometimes truth doesn't matter, only results. The same cruel thinking that destroyed Sina's father years ago. Back home, Rake reads Jay's suicide note. I killed Yusung. Rake is innocent. Don't forgive me. But Rake knows. Jay could never kill anyone. He wakes up and realizes he's in Sina's house. She saved him from collapsing in the rain. For a moment, they sit quietly together. I didn't know where to go, he admits. This is the only place I feel safe. Then he asks softly, do you think Jay could kill someone? Sina shakes her head. No, never. They decide to investigate together. First stop, the accident site. The car's position looks strange, like it didn't crash naturally. Then they visit the small motel Jay stayed at. A worker recognizes Rake. She's a fan. She says Jay stayed alone all night, didn't sleep, looked tense, and kept making phone calls. No visitors. So why was he there? Rake suddenly understands. Nearby is an old festival ground. Their group's very first performance happened there. He takes Sana deeper into the forest, to a secret place, a tree covered with hanging rings. Each member once wrote their wishes there. They find Jay's ring. There's new writing added recently, which means Jay came here before the accident. He wasn't running away. He was trying to remember something. Elsewhere, Bongon secretly rechecks the medical reports. Something strange appears. Both Jay and Rake had the same medication in their blood, a drug that causes extreme drowsiness. So maybe Jay didn't crash on purpose. Maybe he was drugged. At sunset, the park gates lock unexpectedly. Rake and Sina are stuck inside and walk together. Quiet, slow. Then Rake asks her something unexpected. Why did you like me so much? She says there's no reason, but he notices the old cap she kept. He recognizes it. It was his childhood hat. He tells her the story. Back then, he was poor, sick, ignored by his mother. Kids threw coins at him when he sang. He felt worthless. Then one day, he saw a girl crying by the water, Sina. So he sang for her. For the first time, someone stopped crying because of him. That day, he realized he wasn't useless. Sina finally shares her own pain. Her father was falsely accused. No one believed him. He died in prison. Her mother followed. But your song saved me, she whispers. You gave me a reason to live. They slowly lean closer, almost kissing. Then a guard interrupts. Before they leave, the motel girl calls them again. She remembers something. That night, she heard Jay yelling on the phone. You already knew everything. Rake didn't do it. He was arguing with someone, a director. Back home, Sana recalls Guangsu's warning. Boxiong isn't trustworthy. Pieces connect. Jay called Boxiong. Yusung's contract was suspicious. Someone inside the company knew everything. Her heart sinks. She turns to Rake. There's something I didn't tell you. I think Boxiong is hiding something. Rake freezes. That can't be true. I'm not sure, but we have to ask him. So they go straight to Boxiong. Rake confronts him. You spoke to Jay before the accident. Why didn't you tell me? Boxiong's expression darkens. If I tell you the truth, you won't be able to handle it. He steps closer. Some truths only bring pain. Are you ready for that? Rake hesitates, then nods. Yes. And calmly says he wants the truth. No more lies. No more hiding. The story jumps back 15 days before Yusong's death. Yusong is arguing with Bosung. He reminds him of the promise. If Rake agreed to do a solo concert, the group would finally get their album. Everyone has been rehearsing every day. They've sacrificed everything. So why is Rake being pushed into another solo schedule again? Bosung coldly replies that Rake's solo success benefits Yusong too. Rake even shares half his income. To Bosung, it's just business. Yusong is disgusted. Soon after, Namju from another agency keeps calling him, the same agency that once contacted Sana. Yusong feels uncomfortable, but Namju pressures him. Bosung didn't even renew his contract. His future is unstable. If he cares about his team, he should move companies. The threat is clear. Later, Yusong visits Rake and finds him collapsed, sick, secretly taking medicine. Rake begs him not to tell anyone. Yusong quietly helps him, worried. He confronts manager Haku demanding Rake get rest, but Haku brushes him off acting suspicious. Desperate, Yusong meets Namju again and talks contracts. Namju says they want Raik too. Yusong promises he'll convince him, but Namju secretly records everything. At the hospital, Jae hears rumors that Raik might sign with another company and wants to expose it. Yusong stops him, saying nothing is confirmed yet. He'll talk to Raik first. Then things get worse. Yusong learns the conversation leaked. Namju admits he recorded it. Even without a signature, the verbal promise is enough. If Yusong refuses, the recording will be released and his team will think he betrayed them. He's trapped. Later, drunk and exhausted, Raik brings Yusong home. Suddenly, Bosung calls. He accuses Yusong of trying to steal Raik and even manipulating Raik's mother. Bosung cruelly says if Raik knew, he might kill him. But Yusong still believes in his friend. Raik would never turn against me. Back to the present, Bosung plays this recording for Raik. He claims he hid it to protect him. Raik doesn't believe that. He says Bosung only protected his own image. Bosung then directly asks if Raik killed Yusong. Raik firmly denies it. Shaken, Raik leaves with Sena. In the car, memories flood back. Yusong always smiled, but inside he was breaking. Raik blames himself for not noticing. Sena gently tells him to stop blaming himself. Some people suffer silently. Meanwhile, prosecutor Bongon is ordered to drop the case because the public is angry about Raik's wrongful arrest, but he refuses. He's too deep into it. This case matters to him. Raik later calls Haku at the hospital. His house and car have been returned. His innocence is becoming clear, but going back still feels scary. Sena takes care of him, leaving sandwiches, small gestures showing she's worried. Then Aiju calls, asking to meet one last time before leaving the country. She even bought 2 tickets, hoping they could start over together. Raik gently refuses. The past is over. After that, Sena brings Raik his favorite fried chicken. She shyly admits she used to be his fan, so she knows what he likes. They eat with Chungjae, laughing awkwardly. For the first time, it feels normal, warm, like a family. Raik says he hasn't felt this happy in years. The next day, Sena asks what he'd do if he were just an ordinary person. So they spend the day like normal people. They visit his old school, his favorite restaurant. The owner secretly gives extra food, recognizing him. Raik quietly thanks him. Then they go to the aquarium. Blue light surrounds them. Fish glide slowly past. Sena talks about her childhood memories there. For a moment, Raik forgets he's a celebrity. He's just Raik, just human. Some kids almost recognize him, and they hide together, hearts racing. The closeness makes everything feel different. Finally, Raik takes Sena to the place they first met. He tells her that if she hadn't taken his case, he doesn't know where he'd be now. When she's with him, he forgets all the pain. On the way home, he nervously asks if she likes him. She denies it. But before she leaves, he gathers courage and says softly, "I like you." His voice trembles, but his eyes don't waver. "I like you. I can't hide it anymore. When I'm with you, I become someone else, someone better." Sena freezes. Her heart races. She admits she doesn't understand her own feelings yet. Everything happened too suddenly. She's confused. Raik gently smiles. "It's okay. I'll wait. Take your time." They return home together, awkward and silent. The air feels heavier than before. Sena runs straight to her room. Raik stays outside. Both press their hands against their chests, trying to calm their pounding hearts. That night, neither of them sleeps. They just think about each other. Outside the house, a reporter secretly watches, then leaves. The next morning, Sena panics. How can she face him? She rushes out, but Raik is already gone. All she finds is a ladder and a note. He left early so she wouldn't feel uncomfortable. He's going back to his own house. But one thing won't change. He still likes her. Back at his old home, Raik hesitates at the door. The place feels empty and cold. Still, he gathers courage and starts cleaning, trying to rebuild his life. At work, Sena keeps replaying his confession. Why would someone like him like me? He's a star. I'm just helping him. She tries convincing herself it meant nothing, but then her coworker notices something embarrassing. Her case file is filled with tiny hearts and the words, "Do I like him?" She slams the folder shut, flustered. Meanwhile, Raik visits Jay at the hospital. Doctors say he might not survive. Raik plays Jay's favorite song and quietly holds his hand, guilt written all over his face. Elsewhere, prosecutor Bongon refuses to drop Yusong's case. He claims he has evidence connecting Raik, Jay, and the incident. He wants to take everything to court. The storm is coming. Sena waits all day for Raik's call. Nothing. Then she notices his expensive hat left behind. She decides to return it. Coincidentally, Raik is nearby, staring at her contact on his phone, wanting to call, but stopping himself. He promised he'd wait. Suddenly, he sees her approaching and hides behind his car like a fool. When she spots him, she's confused. He awkwardly pretends he's just enjoying the weather. She hands him the hat. "Did you only come to return this?" he asks. She nods, but before leaving, she quietly asks, "You said you'd wait for me. Are you still waiting? He nods. She runs away, heart pounding. Both of them smile like idiots, but their peaceful moment shatters. A news article explodes online. Reporter Beck publishes it. Top star Rake secretly living with female lawyer Sena. Rumors spread everywhere. Rake immediately calls her, apologizing. He blames himself, but Sena stays calm and tells him not to go outside. Reporters are dangerous. Then things get worse. Another article appears. Hitman's daughter protecting a murderer. They expose Sena's father's criminal past. Her old trauma returns instantly. Protesters gather outside her office, screaming insults. Cameras flash. Reporters shove microphones in her face. Is Rake living with you? What's your relationship? Are you hiding something? She tries to stay strong. Then someone throws something at her. Before it hits, Rake appears. He grabs her hand and pulls her inside. She yells at him for coming, but he refuses to leave her alone. This time, I'll protect you. He takes her away to a quiet rented place. Just the two of them. He makes her eat. We need strength if we're going to fight. Later, Sena reads hateful comments calling her murderer's daughter. Her voice cracks. She became a lawyer to save people like her father, but failed. Now people only see her as a criminal's child. She finally breaks down crying. Rake hugs her tightly, no words, just warmth. That night, she watches him sleeping, gently touches his face. He wakes up, their eyes meet. Slowly, they kiss, soft, careful, honest. The next morning feels lighter. Rake hands her coffee. Both avoid eye contact, embarrassed. Then she finally says it. I understand my feelings now. I like you too. Before they can celebrate, a call comes. Bongon has new evidence. Both of them are summoned. Back at the office, tension rises. Meanwhile, Chung Jae investigates Yu Sung's last location and finds a hidden camera. Later that night, Sena and Rake review Bo Sung's old recording again. This time, they notice something new. A keypad sound. Someone entering Rake's house. A third person was there that night, which means Rake isn't the killer. And maybe Yu Sung wasn't the only victim. Sena also discovers Jae didn't attempt suicide. Someone tried to silence him. Then Rake reveals something shocking. The night Sena left his house, he secretly followed her because he missed her. They both laugh softly at the confession. But then Sena shows him a metal item found during the police search, something Rake used to wear all the time. He stares at it. Realization hits. He rushes home, opens his locker, and finds another identical piece, which means someone else had one too. Someone who could enter his house. Someone close. Rake looks at Sena, pale. I know who came to my house that night. Before Sena can respond, his phone rings. It's Yongbin. Jae woke up. Everything stops. They rush to the hospital. Rake carefully walks in like he's afraid Jae might disappear again. Are you okay? He asks softly. Jae's lips tremble, but instead of answering, he whispers one name. Haju. Where is Haju? Everyone freezes. Why her? Why would he call her first? Outside, Bo-sung looks at Raik suspiciously. Do you know something? Raik says nothing. Later, inside the car, he explains the crystal to Sena. Flashback. Years ago, Haju bought a rare matching crystal set. Only two existed in the entire country. One for her, one for Raik, but the same crystal was found inside Raik's house that night, which means Haju was there. Sena swallows hard. We should tell the police. Raik nods slowly. No matter what happens, we expose the truth. Meanwhile, Chung-jae calls Sena urgently and shows her something shocking. A hidden garden camera near Raik's house. Footage from the night of the murder. Heavy rain, dark streets, a figure walking through the garden. No umbrella, moving fast. Suspicious. It could be a woman too, Sena whispers. They both think the same name, Haju. Chung-jae says he'll investigate further, pretending it's only to prove Raik innocent, but his jealousy is obvious. Jae requests to speak privately with prosecutor Bonggon, and finally, the truth begins to come out. That night, Haju called him and asked to meet. She took him to the place where he had his first performance, trying to comfort him. Later, when he went to meet Yushong, he sent a voice recording to Sena. In the recording, you can hear Yusong's phone ringing in the garden. Then someone arrives. Jae gets dizzy. Blackout. Before losing consciousness, he saw Haeju. She's suspicious, he says firmly. Check her. Don't punish innocent people. Those words hit Bonggon hard. Because deep down, he knows Raik might be innocent. At the same time, Sena gathers Haju's medical records. Haju planned to leave the country soon. Running away? That makes everything worse. Bonggon finally confronts Haju for questioning. She denies everything, but Jae's testimony, the footage, the crystal, it all piles up. Even Bonggon's corrupt father tries to stop the investigation. Release her, he orders. But for the first time in his life, Bonggon refuses. I'm not becoming like you. Meanwhile, Raik shows Sena something important. Yusong's phone cloud backup, locked with a password. They try everything. Nothing works. Then Sena remembers something. Yusong once talked about their 10th anniversary and leaving reminders in songs. Try Remind, she says. Rake types it. Unlocked. Inside are hidden recordings. One starts playing. Bosung arguing with Yushang about contracts. Then, keypad sounds. Someone entering. Door opens. Hey Ju. She storms in, demanding to see Rake. Yushang blocks her. Leave him alone. He already suffered enough. Stop chasing him. She breaks down, grabs a knife from the kitchen, threatens to hurt herself. Yushang rushes to stop her. They struggle. And then, a stab. Silence. Yusong collapses. It wasn't murder. It was an accident during the fight. Haju stares at her bloody hands, crying hysterically. But instead of calling for help, she cleans everything, tries to hide it. While searching, her crystal earring falls off. She doesn't notice. Then she escapes through the garden. Jay calls her. Phone rings. She switches it off. Recording ends. The room goes quiet. Sana looks at Rake. It's over. We know the truth. But Rake keeps listening, forcing himself to face every second. Because Yusong died protecting him. That guilt crushes him. Still, they decide to reveal everything publicly. Even if it exposes Rake and Haju's past relationship. Truth matters more. Soon the news breaks. Haju is arrested. Public opinion flips overnight. Rake is cleared. Bongon apologizes to Sana too. For your father, I couldn't fix the past, but I won't repeat that mistake. Later, Sana and Rake visit Yusong's memorial. They place flowers quietly. No words, just grief. Rake then meets Haju in prison. Why did you do it? She answers coldly. Because of you. If we never broke up, none of this would have happened. She says she loved him so much, she lost herself. But Rake shakes his head. That's not love. Love doesn't destroy people. He walks away. No hate, no anger, just closure. Then, 1 year later, Sina rushes home and turns on the TV, Gold Boy's World Tour interview. Rake looks healthier, brighter. He smiles at the camera. I'll come back soon. Eat well. Don't get sick. I miss you. It sounds like he's talking to fans, but Sina knows. Those words are for her. She smiles softly. Outside, Chung-jae calls her to eat. They sit together quietly, sharing a simple meal. It feels warm, like family. Then he drops the news. He's leaving, starting his own private investigation business. 5 years together, and now it's over. He jokes about charging higher fees next time. Sina laughs, but her eyes get wet. She knows she'll miss him. The next day, Sina meets Bo-sung to reopen her father's case. He hands her hidden files, witnesses, evidence he's secretly protected all these years. He always knew she would come back for this. You'll prove your father is innocent, he tells her gently. Just like you saved Rai. Those words give her strength. At the office, she thanks everyone, even Sol. Sol laughs and admits she already suspected Sina was Rai's fan. The way Sina used to secretly smile at her phone gave it away. They both laugh like old friends. Meanwhile, Bongon reflects on his mistakes. He once tried to frame Rai. Now he chooses the truth. He even helps Sina reopen the case, even though it may expose his own father's corruption. For the first time, justice matters more than pride. At court, reporters swarm Sina with questions. She answers bravely. Her voice never shakes. Then suddenly, people start screaming. Rai is here. He walks straight toward her, holding flowers. No bodyguards, no fear, just sincerity. I wanted to surprise you, he says. She can't even speak. They leave together, ignoring cameras. He takes her to her parents' memorial. Bowing respectfully, he promises, I'll protect your daughter. I'll make her happy. Sina's heart melts. Later, they walk, talk, laugh like a normal couple. She confesses she watched his performances whenever she felt lonely. He admits he only had the courage to stand on stage because of her. They were each other's strength all along. Back home, a shy kiss turns into something deeper. After everything they suffered, they finally allow themselves to be happy. Elsewhere, the Gold Boys visit their late friend's memorial. Even success hasn't erased their pain, but they promise to keep moving forward together. Bo-sung quietly tells Rai the truth. It wasn't him who brought Rai into the company, it was Rai's mother. She had believed in her son's future from the very beginning. That realization hits harder than any award. Chung-jae, starting fresh, gives his first client a concert ticket, a small start to his new life. Then comes the concert day. Sana buys tickets online, excited like a teenager again. She meets her online friend for the first time and shockingly realizes it's Sool. They've been talking this whole time without knowing. Fate keeps connecting them. Inside the arena, lights explode. Music roars. Gold Boys step on stage. The crowd screams. Rai scans the audience and finds Sina. Their eyes meet. He smiles, not like an idol, not like a star, but like a man who finally found home. The music rises, the fans cheer, and for the first time, everything feels complete. After lies, betrayals, and pain, truth wins, love wins, and their story finally gets the happy ending they fought so hard for.